Hey folks! Today I'll cover a very unusual game that I first played when I was 12. As usual, it was a full version included in a monthly magazine. See, back then being a PC gamer was awesome, because we had one or two unmissable monthly issues that included demos and a full game each. Sweet memories. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about Ship, a curious puzzle game made by the British studio Mind's Eye. In short, it's a clone of Lemmings, starring, Ship. Yes, of vines that you lead playing as a herder through colorful and inventive levels full of obstacles and traps. According to the story of the game, our ship are actually descendants of alien visitors that came to Earth millions of years ago. Please. But over time and generations, they've become stupid and divided into four different races. The Pastoral, the Factorial, the Long Wool, and the Neogenetic. Suddenly, the natives from the star system of Oviseris decide to return and get them back, and to help them return home safe and sound, the aliens kidnap four Earthlings: a rocker girl, a little delinquent, a family dog, and an old veteran sheepdog. And now, let's start a new game. I strongly recommend you to do the tutorials, because even though the game has very simple controls, these trainings illustrate a bit all the possible interactions, the potential deadly traps, and how to use the bonuses to overcome obstacles. And talking about the herders, I've always chosen Shep, the veteran dog, also because I don't see any differences with the others, even though the manual says he's slower. Let's point out that this is a very deceptive game. It's colorful, cartoonish in everything, but far from simple, and for this reason I recommend you to go with the easy difficulty for the first run, since already on normal the time available to complete the stages and the minimum number of ship to save is quite a challenge. Okay, I also admit that I'm not very good at these games. I'm really terrible. So, excluding the tutorial, there are in total 7 different worlds. The first 6 are composed of 4 levels, all containing a golden ship to find, and if you obtain all the status, will unlock a 5th bonus stage. The controls are very simple. We control the shepherd with the arrows, run with shift, and the alt key is used to interact, walk slower, and pick up and throw the ship, which can be used to solve some puzzles, like those that involve pressing buttons with their weight. We can also shout with the spacebar to force the nearby ship to disperse, which comes handy when they get stuck. The movement of the ship depends on our positioning around them, and their reactions may be unpredictable. Managing to keep them from committing suicide in the traps often becomes unnerving, and the pathfinding sometimes feels wrong, but I don't see it as a big flaw. See, one of the main features of the game is that the sheep are, well, stupid, and their confusion in front of the dangers gives a touch of realism that maybe is out of place, but if they avoided the traps by themselves, and we just had to follow them from behind, the game would have little reason to exist. I have to say that the devs were very creative with their game, especially in designing very gruesome death traps. One of my favorites is this one with the butchers throwing the sheep into the noble's plate. Luckily the game is cartoonish and there's nothing graphic, but damn some of these ideas are evil. The game starts with a first world with a rural setting, but then moves to medieval castles, space bases, sweet factories, a prehistoric world that I didn't appreciate as much as others, then a series of discos, and finally the last world that has only one rather simple level. I mean, it's just the ending. These worlds are all different and very recognizable. The structures of some levels can be surprising, and completing some is very satisfying. The bonus stages are also very imaginative and recall some classic games, like the historic Snake, then Pac-Man, Space Invaders, or this go-kart race whose controls are friggin' janky. Seriously, it's terrible. By the way, the rewards for these bonus levels are only extra points and no extra saved ship, but I still appreciate the effort put into them. At the beginning of each stage we'll have to select one of the 4 races, and when we reach a new game world we'll bring with us the ship saved up to that point, and we'll also find new ones to save within the new levels. Speaking of the 4 breeds, I think that only the Longwool ones are different, since they are slower than the others, which instead seemed identical to me in everything, except maybe their appearance. In fact, for the simpler levels, it is a good idea to keep the Longwools, that otherwise are more difficult to save. Even though the game is full of mortal traps, I rarely found it unfair, and the level that I hated the most is 1,000,000 USBC. In particular, this part with the moving turtles that can make the ship end up in the lava gave me hell. And as I said, this whole prehistoric world feels uninspired and blunt. Aside from this rant, Ship is still a fun and charismatic puzzle game. I cannot say it's one of the best Lemmings clones, because honestly I don't know any others, but I can say that it has always entertained me in its immediacy and ideas. Besides, it lasts just a few hours, like 3 or 5, depending on your skill and desire for completionism. Also, it's graphically very attractive, thanks to the detailed sprite animation and bright colors. I've always appreciated how for each breed of ship they redesigned a lot of animations and power-ups. I liked as well the main FMVs, such as the intro and those of transition between one world and another. These are all signs that a lot of passion was put into the creation of this game, which also has good music and sound effects that characterize the levels very well. Technically the game on Windows 10 lags like crazy without a fix. I mean, look, it's unplayable in this way. However, to solve this I just had to apply Digivoodoo, and everything went smoothly. To conclude, replaying Ship was fun. It has its own style and humor, it's well balanced except for sporadic cases, and it doesn't last too long. I know it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I still recommend giving it a try to experience something very different for once. That said, as always, a warm thanks to all viewers, and see you in the next entry.